So, Elijah. Elijah was a mighty man of God. He was a prophet of God. Elijah was a warrior. He was bold. He was fully confident in God and God's ability to work through him. So much so he would mock his enemies. I mean, he was that bold and that courageous. And so Elijah, in this part of the story, is coming off what would have been one of his most probably victorious moments in his walk with Christ. He had been successful in slaying a multitude of false prophets that were rising up against God. And so in the wake of this victory comes a threat. And it's a threat from a lady named Jezebel. She is not happy that he is killing the prophets of the one that she follows. And she says, by this time tomorrow, I will do to you what you did to them. I'm going to kill you. And so coming off of that victory, this bold and courageous prophet runs. And it was such a moment to me. I thought, how do you go from such a high to such a low that you're running for your life? For fear. You have just killed all of these people, but this one woman has got you on the run. And so he runs and he hides in a cave. And while he's hiding in this cave, God meets him there. Let's go. God meets him in the cave. And he's like, Elisha, what are you doing here? Have you ever had one of those moments where you are running from something that you think is really trying to kill you? And you look around at your life and the time that you've wasted on the run, you're like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? I just slayed all of these people for God, and I'm in a cave hiding from a woman? How did I get here? Have you ever been there? I have. And then God says, come on out. Just come out and talk to me. Let's talk about this. So Elisha comes to the mouth of the cave, and they go through a conversation, and he says, you got to go back. You got to go back and face that thing that you're running from. I've been in there. I've been in that moment where I had been at a point in my life very hurt by someone. It wasn't my fault. I had no hand in it. I was completely innocent. But the hurt that they instilled caused me to run. It caused me to run for my life. It caused deep insecurities. It caused depression at times. It caused an eating disorder at times. It caused me to hurt myself in ways that I wasn't even realize I was hurting myself to mask the pain of what I was running from. And this went on throughout my teenage years, my young adult years, and even started to creep into my marriage because I was having a hard time with healthy relationship, trust issues, things like that. And I remember about 2 years ago, I just got before God and said, God, I'm tired of living like this. How did I get here? How is this my life? I'm your daughter. I am doing everything that I can for you. How is this my heal me? How is this my heal me? I need you to heal me from this. And he said to me, like Elisha, you got to go back. I had to go back, and I had to face that thing that I thought was trying to kill me. I literally had to go back and forgive the one that hurt me. And my first instinct when he said you got to forgive is I already had, and I had. I had from afar said, I forgive this person. I'd even gotten to a place I was praying for them because they had fallen into some health issues. But he said, no, you have to literally go back and release them. And that was a hard thing to do. Because if I'm honest, they never asked for my forgiveness. They never acknowledged the hurt that they gave me. And so I, if I'm honest, really thought I wanted them to get what they just deserved. Does that make sense? So I wrestled with that for a bit, but finally conceded. And I got in my car and I drove the 2 hours. And I remember driving up the street to the house where the hurt took place. And the picture in my mind of that environment had been embedded. And all of these emotions would come up when I would think about the house and I would think about the yard and how it looked and smells. I remembered it so vividly. And when I would think about it, all this rage and hurt would rise up. And so those were the associations I had with this image. And those were the feelings that were rising up as I drove down the road and turned onto the street. And I saw the corner where I was going to have to turn, where I knew the house resided, and it was all there. And I made the turn. I thought, okay, God, here we go. And I drove. And before I knew it, I was at the end of the street, and I missed it. God had changed the landscape. I didn't even recognize the house anymore. And so I had to do another loop, stop my car and get out and like really study to figure out where it even was, because I hadn't been there since I was a girl and it looked nothing like it did in my mind. So I walk up to the house and I knock on the door, and there they come, unexpected. And I told them, I forgive you for what you did to me. And in that moment, God turned the thing that was meant to kill me, unlocked me, and it healed me. So if you're running today, stop. That forgiveness is more for you than it is for them. Forgive and release them and let the healing begin.